Hey y'all, hey, it's Troyia Monay. That's y'all with another video. Today's video is super exciting. As always, I am so excited about today's video. Today's video, we are going to be discussing all about how to go through and find and communicate with your target audience. So recently over at the Her Hustle Academy Instagram page during my Wind Down Wednesday, we talked about this exact topic, but I decided to bring it here on YouTube just so that way you guys can get a little bit more information as to how to find your target audience and how to better communicate with them. As a lot of you guys know, I'm currently in the process of rebranding my boutique, Wanted Wardrobe. Recently, probably about 6 or 7 months ago, I decided to go through, shut my entire boutique down, and to go through and rebrand. And that was all because I did not have a clear understanding as to who my target audience was. My target audience went through a process of changing because of my influence here on YouTube and so many other things. So that just really goes to show you guys how important it is to know your target audience. It is imperative to know a lot of things about your target audience, especially when it comes to choosing inventory, right? So you're choosing these inventory pieces based off of who your target audience is. So when it comes to choosing inventory, we all know inventory takes the largest amount of our budget. Literally, sometimes we spend our entire budget on inventory. We shouldn't, but sometimes we do. But what if I told you guys that you can save so much more money on inventory and dedicate those funds into other things such as marketing towards your target audience a little better than what you're already doing? And you guys can do all of this by using Alibaba.com. So Alibaba.com's ultimate goal is for you to invest less into your inventory and to sell a lot more to your target audience, you guys. So before we hop right on in today's video, I'm going to give you guys 3 of my tips and tricks that I've personally been using during my rebrand season to go through and, you know, help me a little bit more to invest a lot less into inventory and to increase my marketing efforts towards my target audience. So the first way to do that is by taking advantage of the Alibaba.com seller discounts, you guys. I know sometimes we get a little bit weary when it comes to shopping on different, you know, marketplace platforms, but I promise you guys, Alibaba.com has some of the best and most unique vendors, especially when it comes to us shopping and sourcing inventory, right? A lot of their sellers on there are going to offer you some type of discount or incentive, you know, save X, spend X amount of dollars, or spend X amount of dollars, save X amount of dollars. So definitely take advantage of those discounts whenever you do see them. The second way is to build relationships with the sellers on Alibaba.com, you guys. I cannot tell you how many times I've shopped with vendors there, especially for this relaunch in particular. And I've continuously shopped with them, built those relationships with them, and they're like, hey, you know, use this coupon code, or hey, you know, add this and I'll give you this type of discount. When you build relationships, just like we built relationships with our audience as retailers, we're their customers. So they want to make sure that they keep us as a long-lasting customer. So they're going to be a little bit more willing to go through and offer us some type of incentive or discount. Does this work 100% of the time? No, but it's definitely always great to go through and build those relationships. And then number 3, you guys want to make sure you get your pen, get your notebook ready. You want to make sure you shop the Alibaba.com Super September sales event, you guys. This sales event is literally like no other, you guys. So from September 1st all the way to September 30th. So right now, if you're watching this, Alibaba.com is offering customers up to 40% off on select items. Even on-time delivery, right? We all know as boutique owners, retailers, business owners, how important delivery is. And we all know that can definitely take some time. So this is an amazing offer. They also are allowing you to go through and shop by category for even better savings. So you can shop their discounts, shipping discounts, their DDP, which is their delivery duty paid services and offers. They even have top ranked suppliers categories that you guys can check out, drop shipping, and so much more. These are all great ways to explore more on Alibaba.com's Super September sales event that are going to allow you to save so much money on inventory and allow you to sell a lot more to your target audience, you guys. So if you're interested in investing less and selling more, more information regarding Alibaba.com's Super September event will be listed down below, you guys. So we are going to hop right on into today's video. We are going to be talking all about how to find your target audience and how to go through and communicate with them. All right, you guys, let's hop right on into how to find and communicate with your target audience today. So y'all know I got my computer here with all of my notes, so we're gonna go ahead and get it popping. We're gonna go ahead and jump right on into 5 ways that you can find and communicate with your target audience starting literally today. All right, so let's go through and hop right on into number one. So number one is to figure out what your product niche is. Number one is not to go through and start doing research. Number one is to figure out what your product niche is. If you don't know what your product niche is, it is going to be impossible for you to go through and find a target audience, and pretty much impossible for you to even go through and communicate with them. This is your first step, you guys. All of these steps, let me briefly say that as well. All of these steps are going to be in chronological order. The first thing, go through and figure out what your product niche is. If you don't know what a niche is basically a kind of like a focus area, almost like your business's area of expertise, right? So let's say we are a clothing business. You're a women's clothing business. These days, you cannot be a women's clothing business. There's too much competition out there. The market is too large for it. You have to go through and figure out your lane. And your lane is going to be your niche, right? So let's say we're a women's clothing line. We might be a women's, nightclub wear clothing line. We might be offering pajamas. We might be offering loungewear. We might be offering professional or workwear. We might be offering casual wear. We might take it a step further and only offer dresses. I've coached a lot of businesses that only offer dresses, right? So you have to go through and figure out what your business's product niche is going to be. You have to find a lane, and you want to stay in that lane, especially when you're just starting out. Like, we oftentimes look at like the Fashion Novas and the Pretty Little Things, and we think about these brands, right? They offer a lot of different product, right? They're offering accessories, they're offering shoes, and we oftentimes are like, oh my goodness, I want to offer all of these things, but we're smaller businesses, right? We have lower capacities. Our audience doesn't trust us in all of those lanes just yet. When Fashion Nova first started off, guess what they were known for? Their jeans, right? And then they built their audience's trust, and then they started garnering their audience into their different lanes, right? Figure out what your product niche is going to be if you are just starting out, and then grow from that. We often want to see the big picture, and then we don't want to actually grow. So figure out what your product niche is going to be. Your product, I have a description right here. A business niche is a specified or focus area of a broad market that businesses can serve to differentiate themselves from the competition, right? So Fashion Nova took over the business of jeans, right? They took over the business of jeans. They're known for their jeans, and that's what separated them from their competition. One product, right? So figure out what your one product may be, or your one area is going to be, and master that, and then go through and expand after that. So figure out your product niche is going to be number one to finding and communicating with your target audience. Number two is going to be write out any adjectives or descriptive words that you can describe as someone who would wear a particular garment within your niche. So let's say we are talking about nightclub wear, for example, right? If we're talking about nightclub wear, I can give you a bunch of words and phrases or descriptive words that I would think of, as to someone who would wear nightclub wear, right? They might be fun, they might be outgoing, they might be a social drinker, they might be really friendly, really bubbly, they might be popular, trendy, sociable, festive, witty, that type of thing. There's a lot of different words and phrases to describe someone who would wear nightclub wear. If we're wearing nightclub wear, right, that means we're going to be partiers. We're someone who's sociable. We like to go through and hang out. We might be a little bit outgoing. So what this is going to do, it is going to allow you to describe your target audience in words or phrases. So when you are outlining your target audience, we'll talk about that in step number 3. Or step number 4 rather, it's going to be a lot easier because you have a list of words and phrases that you know about this particular audience, right? So where does this audience like to go? Where does they spend a lot of their time? I know if they're wearing nightclub wear that they like to go through and party. So they might not be spending a lot of their time at nightclubs and social gatherings, but I know that that is somewhere where they like to go. So that is where I want to go. I want to talk as if I am communicating with someone who wears nightclub wear. All right, so number 3 is to find celebrities / influencers that also fit this criteria. So if we're talking about nightclub wear, I gave this example the other night during my Wind Down Wednesday, then we know we can probably get maybe like a Ari, who's the influencer, or Jada Wada influencer as well. We know that those girls are, party promoters. They are promoters. They do promo events and different things like that, which means that their audience is also at the events that they do their promo gatherings at, right? So I might want to look at, you know, Jada or Ari or any of these other bigger influencers out there to get some type of idea as to a actual real person that also fits this criteria. This is also going to allow you guys a way better opportunity to describing this type of person, right? These could also be your potential brand ambassadors or even influencers or anything like that. So that way you're able to garner that attention as well when it does come to you using some type of influencer marketing. So make sure you guys find at least 3 to 4 influencers or celebrities that also fit that criteria. I even recommend turning on their post notifications on Instagram. I'm a stalker when it comes to my target audience. And, you know, just keeping up with what they're keeping up with. I know that 9 times out of 10, if I am trying to be a brand that is trying to promote or trying to sell nightclub wear, that 9 times out of 10, my audience is following maybe Jada or Ari or something along those lines, especially if they are someone of an African-American community, right? So they're already following them. So whatever they're talking about, my audience sees. So whatever Jada's talking about, I need to make sure I'm talking as if I'm talking to her. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on in step number 5. So step number 4 is to go through and create your consumer persona. This is my favorite part of finding my target audience. And this is, in my opinion, one of the most important parts of going through and finding your target audience is outlining this entire person. You are creating a consumer persona. Oftentimes, I get on coaching sessions with a lot of my clients and they're like, Troyia, I don't even know, how do I even find my target audience? Is there some type of data I can look up? Do I have to pull up something? Is there some type of research I need to do? All of these different things. And I tell them, yes, there is some type of research that goes into finding your target audience persona or your consumer persona, but it's all pretty much made up. Your entire consumer persona is made up, you guys. You are creating an entire person. I know it sounds crazy to think about, but you are creating an entire persona. And I like to create my personas into 4 parts. We have the geographic, we have the demographic, we have the psychographic, and then we have the behavioral. The behavioral is just going to assess this person's overall shopping behavior, right? So if you guys do need more information as to how to go through and build out your consumer persona, feel free to book a coaching session with me. That is where I actually go through with you, hand and foot. We go through and we write out your entire consumer persona. So if you guys do need more information on that, as to what different things are within those different categories, feel free to book a coaching session with me and I'll be more than happy to help you with outlining that. So this persona is completely made up. Like I said, it is going to be based off of who you want your potential consumer to be. You are making up an entire consumer. So if you're a current boutique owner and you don't know who your audience is, definitely go through and try to outline your consumer persona, or you can definitely book a coaching session with me and we can do it. But it is split up into 4 parts, or that's at least how I like to do mine, and it's more so helpful that way. The geographic, the demographic, the psychographic, and also the behavioral. Also, I mean, if you are a current boutique owner and you are struggling trying to figure out who your current audience is, there are definitely a number amount of ways that you can definitely go through to find your target audience that already exist. So some of those things could be asking your customers to complete customer surveys. That's definitely a way. You can look at Facebook ads or Facebook analytics on the back end, or your social media accounts to see who those people are. You can even look to see what items are selling best. So if all of your nightclub outfits are selling best, and let's say you also offer, professional wear, and you also offer any type of loungewear, you know that 9 times out of 10, your audience is more so into the nightclub wear, type of clothing. So you can actually kind of pivot your brand a little bit more to fit that type of criteria, since you know that a little bit more about your audience as well. Number 5 is to market towards this person, you guys. You have to market towards this person. This is where the communication comes in. We found our target audience, right? We outlined who we want our consumer persona to be. We figured out our product niche. We've gone through, figured out celebrities and influencers that also fit this criteria. Now it is time for us to market and communicate towards this person, you guys. So there's several different ways that you can do this. You want to create useful and relevant content. Let me go through and rephrase that again, or say that again. You have to go through and create useful and relevant and relatable content to this target audience. You have to speak their language, you guys. You have to speak their language. You have to talk as if you are talking to this person. So if I am, a nightclub wear type of boutique, and I know that my target audience is maybe, or my influencers that fit my criteria, maybe like a Jada or a Ari, I know that for the most part, I can get away with talking slang. I can get away with talking the most latest type of language. I can talk about pop culture. I can talk about what's trending because I know that my target audience can relate back to that thing, right? But if, let's say, you're doing more so of a proper, more professional type of brand, you know that you can't use slang. You have to make sure that you can't say gonna, you're going to have to say going to. You can't say finna, you're going to have to say going to, or you're going to have to use some type of language. You guys pretty much get the gist as to what I'm saying. You have to talk their language, right? Create useful, create relevant, create relatable content. Content that relates back to that type of person. Get brand ambassadors and influencers that represent that target audience. That's definitely a great way to reach more people and also go through and market towards that person as well. Use social media hashtags that relate back to that type of person as well, you guys. So if I know that I am a nightclub wear type of boutique, I might be, and I know that my target audience, let's say, lives down south in Florida, or they live in Florida, period, I can use like Tampa nightclub hashtag, or I can use Tampa nightlife, or I can use like Miami nightclub or Miami nightlife, or I can use different location hashtags and hashtags that also fit my product niche at the same time. So you guys have to be really, really wary as to what hashtags you're using, because you can use very specific hashtags that definitely coincide a lot more with your brand overall. Boom. Also, you want to reference things that this person would be interested in. We all know the crate challenge went viral. So if your target audience is really into pop culture, I'm pretty sure they'd be interested in that. So you guys can create content about the crate challenge, or use crate challenge hashtags within any of your content as well. Also, we all know the movie or the TV show, movie, whatever it is, clickbait on Netflix is doing numbers right now as well. So if your target audience is into that type of thing, maybe create some type of meme or some type of graphic using those same exact things in order to go through and make your content a little bit more relatable, a little bit more useful, and definitely a lot more relevant. So that is pretty much everything, you guys. We talked about 5 ways that you can go through and find and communicate with your target audience. Step number 1, we talked all about figuring out what our product niche is. Step number 2, we talked about the adjectives and descriptive words that we can use to describe a person within that product niche. We talked about number 3, finding 3 or 4 celebrities or influencers that also fit that criteria as well. Number 4, we talked about creating our consumer persona. Happy to go through and outline that for you during a coaching session if that's something you're interested in. And then step number 5, we talked all about marketing towards this particular audience. That in step number 5 is one of the most important ones here. You have to market towards these people. You can know who they are all day, but how are you going to reach them, right? So you guys want to make sure you take that into consideration. So that's it, you guys. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, give this video a big thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.